In fiscal year 2024, the Department of Justice collected roughly $184 million in motor vehicle licensing and permit revenue. But at the end of every fiscal year, the department has to reconcile not only what it has received, but also the money collected by counties that hasn't yet reached the department's accounts. And this is where some of the issues come up. For the last 4 years, the DOJ's financial records have carried errors tied to those year-end revenue transactions. And in the last 2 fiscal years, in 2023 and 2024, the statements are still off. Now the mistakes vary in size, but they continue happening. Much of the issue stems from ongoing turnover in the positions that are supposed to ensure the accuracy of financial records. Without better internal controls and consistent staffing, the DOJ could continue to make the same financial errors moving forward. I'm content editor and host Eric Seidel, and I'm joined by Chris Dara, the author of one of our latest financial audit reports. Join us for the next few minutes as we discuss the audit of the 2 fiscal years ending in 2024 for the Montana Department of Justice here on the Legislative Audit Division podcast. Chris, thanks for joining me today to talk about your audit. How about you just give me the full title for this audit here with the Department of Justice?
We're going to be talking about the financial compliance audit for the Department of Justice for the 2 fiscal years ended June 30th, 2024.
Chris, normally we kind of start these podcasts off with just a little bit of background on the agency or department that was the subject of the audit. Can you tell me just a little bit about DOJ?
When most people think about the Department of Justice, they think about the Attorney General and probably the Montana Highway Patrol. But the department also provides investigation and forensic services to the county and local law enforcement. They administer the Highway Patrol, motor vehicle titling and registration, and regulates electronic gambling. The department attorneys also defend the state of Montana in court. The department operates with 11 divisions. These are Central Services, Criminal Investigation, Forensic Science, Gambling Control, Montana Law Enforcement Academy, Legal Services, Montana Highway Patrol, and Motor Vehicle. The department also has the Board of Crime Control and Post Counsel administratively attached.
Okay, so give me a little bit of an idea. What did you look at here with this audit?
This audit covered 2 fiscal years, 2023 and 2024. The objectives of the audit were to gain an understanding of the department's control system to the extent necessary to support our audit of the department's financial schedules. We determined whether the department's financial schedules present fairly the results of operations for each of those 2 fiscal years, and we determined if the department complied with selected laws and regulations. We also looked at the implementation status of prior audit recommendations.
Okay, so you're essentially looking at the DOJ's financial activity and the records and making sure it's all in the up and up. If Montanans can trust the information that they're seeing in these financial records. Now, when we're talking about the DOJ, where does a lot of their revenue come from, and what are some of their expenses?
The department's significant revenue sources include motor vehicle licenses and permits, and tax revenue from gambling operations. Personal service costs and operating expenses comprise the bulk of their expenditures.
And another key thing that the financial compliance auditors do is they check up on the recommendations made in prior year's audits, right?
Yeah, another part of our audit is to follow up on prior audit recommendations. The previous audit report included 2 recommendations to the department related to collecting fees commensurate with cost in its Legal Services Internal Service Fund and accruals of expenditures in its custodial fund. Through testing, we determined that the prior audit recommendation related to the custodial fund was partially implemented. We found additional errors related to the recording of the accruals in the custodial fund. We will discuss these errors later in recommendation number 2.
Okay, now back on here, this latest audit. In totality, how many recommendations did you end up with?
This report contains 5 recommendations to the department, and we issued an unmodified opinion. This means that the reader can rely on the information presented in the financial statements.
Okay, so you still gave some recommendations, but overall, their financial statements are clean and can be relied on. And can you just, summarize if there was a overarching theme here with what you found in the audit?
Overall, we found the department should prioritize training and educating staff on the importance of internal controls related to accounting and financial reporting.
Okay, so it sounds like there was something going on with staff that helped contribute. Tell me a little bit about that.
Toward the end of the audit period, the department underwent a reorganization that affected its structure and personnel. Some changes were made at the discretion of the Attorney General, and others were made through mandate from the Legislature. This affected approximately 60 FTE in the department.
And were any of those 60 FTE key positions?
Yeah, one of the key positions eliminated was the Chief Financial Officer through a reduction in force within the Centralized Services Division. In addition, the Fiscal Bureau in Centralized Services Division experienced turnover in 5 of its 8 positions in late fiscal year 2024, which continued into fiscal year 2025.
Okay, and I'm assuming there's going to be some hiccups with things like that.
Yeah, it can lead to accounting errors and misstatements. Strong institutional knowledge and oversight are necessary, especially for organizations with complex financial operations. Ensuring that transactions are properly recorded and comply with state accounting policies requires strong internal controls and well-trained staff. The department should provide tools and training to equip accounting personnel with the expertise required to perform their duties.
Okay, so I think we would understand why something like that would lead to a recommendation, right?
Yeah, that got us to our first recommendation, to document procedures over key department operations and to provide training to staff to ensure they have the knowledge necessary to perform assigned tasks in accordance with state policy.
Okay, and obviously turnover, played a role in that recommendation.
It did. State accounting policy specifies the control environment sets the tone of the organization and influences the effectiveness of the overall internal control structure of the entity. The department's policies and procedures should allow for proper processing of transactions even when turnover occurs.
Okay, and I know from reading your report, that first rec is kind of the heart and soul of your additional 4 recs, that the staffing and training continues to lead to more issues with internal controls and even a couple of misstatements. Again, nothing big enough to affect the overall audit opinion, but they're there nonetheless, and they contribute to the rest of your recommendations, right?
Yeah, they do. We have 4 additional recommendations to the department, all of which include recommendations for internal controls, and 2 of which had misstatements. Recommendation number 2 is related to misstatements and accruals. The prior 2 audit reports contained recommendations to the department to properly record these year-end transactions for motor vehicle licenses and registration activity. We recommend the department develop and implement internal controls and procedures to properly record year-end transactions in accordance with state accounting policy, and to record accrual transactions in their proper accounts.
And what about the third recommendation?
This recommendation is related to errors and omissions in the note disclosures. The office addressed all the errors and omissions in the notes.
Okay, and recommendation 4 had to do with the CARS platform, licensing, things like that.
Correct. This recommendation is related to the properly recording of the CARS system. We recommend the department develop and implement internal controls and procedures to properly identify and record lease and asset activity, and record necessary accounting entities to proper accounts for CARS in accordance with state accounting policy.
Okay, and how about the last recommendation?
Our final recommendation is related to gambling tax reconciliations. Remember, gambling tax is a division within the Department of Justice. The department staff did not complete gambling tax reconciliations correctly. We recommend the department document internal controls related to the gambling tax reconciliations and considered all transactions when conducting monthly reconciliations.
All right, Chris, so to put a bow on it, the staffing and training issues led to kind of these little hiccups here with the rest of your recommendations. 5 in totality.
Correct, but it's important to know that none of the recommendations had an effect on the opinion. Our clean opinion means you can rely on the information presented on the financials.
All right, Chris, well, thanks for coming in today, sharing your audit report with some of the listeners and helping us kind of make sense of it.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, and as we wrap up, again, I'm editor and host Eric Seidel, and I was joined by Financial Compliance Auditor Chris Dara. If you enjoyed the podcast and want to check out any of our other latest audit reports, you can do that on our new website, which is legmt.gov/LAD, that's /LAD. Thanks for joining us today, and until next time.